a week already, and it's already halfway full. So this, it's Monday morning. I'm now on the East Coast, so it's, still Monday morning on the East Coast. And this is going to fill insanely quick because it's already 50% full. So if you want to get into this league, you're going to need to move very quickly. So my bad on that, forgetting that this was going to be open for 2 full weeks. The link is in the description for this and everything else that you need. Okay, let's start with the golf course, I suppose, here. So we've got TPC Craig Ranch. We've been here for a handful of years. It is a Weiskopf design. They are larger than average green, 6,700 square feet on average, par 71, 7,500 yards. In terms of like par and yardage or distance per shot, this is pretty long, but it doesn't always play that long. These guys have eaten this golf course up in the past. You can see the par 5s are just a joke, right? I mean, 509 yards, 572 yards, 549 yards. They play a half shot under par. If you are making par on the 5s, you are getting absolutely wrecked by the field. You see that there's only a handful of holes that played over par in terms of the scoring average. So this is birdie central. There's not as much data because of how few years we've been here at TPC Craig Ranch on the course key stats page. By the way, this is my website, rickryangood.com. So it's getting better every year, but this is not the most perfect thing in the world. But it does show you exactly what you need to do, and that is strokes gained approach. The 2 ranking that you see on strokes gained approach means there's only one other course on the PGA Tour schedule in which strokes gained approach is more highly correlated with success at this golf course than here at TPC Craig Ranch. You see driving accuracy show up as well. Driving distance is almost negatively correlated. It's basically bottom of the barrel. But here's the 2 that stand out to me: approach play and putting. Rank number 2, rank number 10. We talked about this a little bit last week in Best Ball for the Zurich Classic. Why is that? Well, approach and putting are the 2 high upside scoring stats. If you're constantly using your around the green play, you're scrambling, you're probably not making a lot of birdies, that is not as correlated with scoring. Strokes gained off the tee, definitely much more consistent. You can definitely beat the field average, but it's not, as part of what percentage you can beat the field on and how big those differences are, it's not as big when it relates to scoring numbers. So approach and putting, you hit it close, you make the putt, you make birdies, boom, boom, boom. You're going to need a lot of those this week. And the secondary stats agree. So we've got approaches within 100 yards, total birdies, approaches from 50 to 75 yards, back 9 scoring, consecutive birdie streak, consecutive holes under par. Those are your top 6 secondary stats. Now, all alone, they're not great. Total birdies is fine. They're not great in general, but it just continues to build this picture of a golfer who needs to go super, super low, right? And that's likely what we're going to get. Again, you do get some longer approach shots. So you get kind of the barbell approach of approach shots, right? You've got the longer shots into some of these par 4s that, there is a 504-yard par 4, number 13. That'll play a little bit difficult. You've got 482, 495, 482 again. Depending on wind direction and wind speed and stuff like that, you are going to hit some mid to longer iron clubs into some of those. And then you get the ridiculously short par 5s where even if your third shot is not on the green, it's basically a pitch. It's basically scrambling for birdie, getting up and down for birdie if you do miss the green. So you do kind of get that barbell approach a little bit. And then same thing with the par 3s. The 3 of the 4 par 3s are over 200 yards. So now you are getting into those either the top end of your bag or the wedge portion of your bag more frequently than probably a lot of other courses, just because of the way that this is designed. If we look at the cheat sheet here, so we've got 3 golfers, just 3 golfers over $10,000. I'll tell you what, it's incredibly top heavy. Scotty Scheffler's here. He's 2.5 to 1 to win this golf tournament. I don't think I could possibly ever bet that number in a full field event, but we'll talk about him in a second. And then it's a huge drop off from Jordan Spieth, Sung J M. Sam Burns is the 4th most expensive golfer here. Let's start with Scotty Scheffler. say whatever you want about Scotty and his 2025 being disappointing, underwhelming, whatever verbiage that you want to use. He's been nothing but top 25s. I'm not exaggerating. His worst finish was Phoenix Open, where he finished T25. The tee to green play has been very, very good. The putter has been very, very good. The only issue that we have seen is that at times he's gotten a little cold with the putter, but never for really 4 rounds outside of Bay Hill. And then he has this little left miss with the driver. Now, I will tell you a couple of things here. That left miss is very troublesome at the Masters. He lost strokes off the tee in each of his final 3 rounds at Augusta National, still finished 4th. That left-hand miss is a little troublesome at RBC Heritage, still finished T8 there. That left-hand miss, it ain't going to be a problem too much here. You know what I mean? Like, this is a much bigger ballpark. You're just going to find some rough out there. If you click the CJ Cup results, you're going to get all the CJ Cup results. So you've got to look at the courses here, right? Because this event has been played at Congaree, Summit Club, Shadow Creek. They moved it around for a while. This event has only been played at Craig Ranch for like 3 or 4 years. So because they merged these 2 events, you're seeing everything. But if you look at the Craig Ranch stuff for Scotty Scheffler, T5 2 years ago, that's the last time he played this. He picked up 10.5 strokes from tee to green. He was a 0 with the putter. 2022, 8.7 strokes from tee to green, lost a stroke and a half with the putter. He's a much better putter now. And then he played here in 2021 before he was Scotty, right before he became the #1 player in the world. T47, really good driver. The rest of his game wasn't that strong. So I'm a pretty firm believer that Scotty's going to win this golf tournament, or at least be very much in the mix. I know, hot take central, right? That the #1 player, the guy who has been, basically by far the best player in the world. Actually, it's getting a lot closer now. Rory McIlroy's, last 36 rounds is putting up some numbers, but Scotty is nearly, in the last 36 rounds, a stroke better per round than anybody else in this field. We are probably not going to see another gap like that for the rest of the year. Maybe, well, we'll see. There's still another Texas event where it might happen again. Scotty loves to play the Texas events, but he's probably not going to play like 5 in a row. So this might be the last time that you get this. So I truly believe that Scotty is by far the most likely to win this golf tournament. Everything stands out, and I think it's a better situation for him than in the previous couple of starts for him. So that leaves us with Jordan Spieth and Sungjae Im. I am generally bullish on both, cautiously bullish. We'll start with Jordan Spieth here. We've been tracking this progression from the wrist injury to the surgery to all that stuff. Love the way that he's driving the ball. I love the upside that he has in the approach play, but that also comes with significant downside, right? So picks up 7.6 strokes on approach at Valspar, loses 4.7 at the Masters, picks up 1.8 the next week. It's just kind of all over the place. You don't know what version you are going to get, and it's similar in his results here. Missed the cut here last year, was runner-up here the last time he played at Craig Ranch, which was in 2022. Phenomenal week, gained across the board, 11.7 strokes tee to green, another stroke and a half with the putter. Played here the year prior to that, 2021, and finished T9. So I'm generally bullish about what we're getting out of Jordan Spieth, but he is very, very volatile in a scenario like this. And then Sungjae Im. Sungjae Im has been slowly plugging the leaks. His 2025 start was pretty bad, and he was actually slumping, a bit back into 2024 as well. You can see, this is early 2024, starts to get it together. The approach play is still worrisome. He's lost strokes on approach in 4 out of his last 5. The driver is back. That's good to see. The around the green play is back. I hope he doesn't have to use it this week, but it's back if it's there. The putter has been better than most. Has never played here, which makes me think. Now he's always plays the CJ Cup, but has not played this golf course before, which makes me think that he might fly a little bit under the radar, right? You've got 2 Texans at the top of the board and Sungjae Im, who's never played here, right? So imagine what that ownership is going to do, and we'll know as the week goes on. I might need to adjust. That makes me think. I might need to adjust the live chat time for this week. I'll have to think about that later. But yeah, that's I'm just interested to see when we get to the live chat on Wednesday, like what that ownership looks like on Sung J M and how many people are stocking up on the 2 Texans at the top of the board. So we'll see. Scotty is in a tier of his own here.
Golf season has kicked off, and there's no better place to sweat the action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. Right now, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. It's simple to play. Build your dream lineup while staying under the salary cap, then sit back and watch as your players rack up points. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt. Feel the intensity of every shot.
Davis Riley is somebody at $7,200 that you're going to want in your DFS lineups. He has been hitting it much better on approach. In fact, picking up strokes to the field in 5 of his last 7 measured events. And if you look at his history around this place, it includes a T30 and a T9 in his 3 trips. So Davis Riley, reasonably priced at $7,200.
Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app today. The crown is yours.
Then it's an even bigger drop-off. We've tracked Sam Burns quite a bit in 2025, and it has not been good. You know, he played better at the RBC Heritage, in which he had his best finish of the year outside of Kapalua, which is like, 30-something guys, 40 guys. So he finished his T13 at Harbortown and is still hemorrhaging strokes on approach. He has gained strokes on approach once, dating back to the fall portion of the schedule. That's a problem. He's historically much, much better than that. If we have an approach and putting contest, he'll do fine with the putter. But man, this is a really concerning stat profile, and he continues to get these really high salaries that I've been basically avoiding, and I have not been burned by it yet. Benny On. So you've got Ben On here at 97, Taylor Pendrith, who's your defending champion, at 96. And then again, like, this is kind of a pretty big drop off to some of these guys. Let's start with Ben On. I think this is interesting. Benny On's going to be able to use his biggest weapon, which is the driver, around TPC Craig Ranch. He's not going to have any problems off the tee here. You can see only two times he's played here, he's picked up a total of, 6 strokes off the tee in those 8 rounds. He's got a T14 and a T4. This is the right ballpark for him, right? When you start thinking about what he does well, what does Taylor Pendrith do well, guys like that, this is a really good spot for Benny On. Hasn't played since Harbortown, played the Masters. That's all he played in April, so should be well rested. Game should be very, very sharp, and ready to go here. We just are, stop me if you've heard this before about Benny On. Like, he's going to need to putt well. I want to see what Taylor Pendrith has been up to here. So Pendrith won this event last year in his debut. Was solid across the board. Actually, his worst area was approach play, but he was a positive player there. Not really the same type of profile that we're seeing right now. He's given away a ton of strokes around the green. The putter has been erratic. The driver's been good, not great. It's been okay. I'll give him great. But this is not the same player. I'd probably prefer Ben On right here. The guy who stands out to me the most, and if you wanted to be super crazy and just start your lineups, Jordan Spieth and Siwoo Kim, you might win all the money and you might finish dead last, right? So we've got Siwoo, who the miscut at the Zurich, I'm not going to care about anything that happened at the Zurich. It's a team event, completely different scenario. But you had the T8 at Harbortown, where he played flawless golf for 54 holes and then, disengaged, punted it away. Siwoo is, he's a battleship, right? And when he gets humming in one direction, good luck turning him around. That includes in the bad direction. When he starts going in a bad direction, good luck turning it around. That day is over, okay? I love to see, the first 3 rounds he played were phenomenal. Picked up a stroke and a half putter in each of those 3 rounds. I think he might have had a multiple shot lead going into Sunday's final round. Ends up finishing T8. His 2025 has been fairly consistent in terms of Siwoo Kim, right? I mean, that stretch of from Pebble Beach to Players, he played 5 events. His worst finish was the Players, which was a T38. Everything else was a top 25 finish. Harbortown, signature event, plays really well there. This should be a good golf course for him. T13 last year, runner-up the year before that, one missed cut in 2022, and he played here in 2021 as well. That was a T55. So his last two are each, this is a scary click. But if you can get Siwoo engaged for all four, I think you're in a really, really good spot. The 8K range is actually where I think there are a lot of really good plays here. If you want to go back to either one of the Højgaard brothers, Rasmus is 89, Nico is 82, I think that's fine. Slight lean towards Rasmus. I'm not sprinting to get there. Ryan Gerard has been awesome. Okay, Ryan Gerard has been cashing top 30, top 40 bets easily for the entirety of 2025. So this run he's on, Houston Open, 9th place finish, Texas Open, runner-up, goes to Harbor Town, gets a much better field, T27, and then goes to Zurich. And again, not a big deal here because he played with Danny Walker, and we're not going to take anything out of this. T12 there, but at least that's playing good golf. He is $8,600. I think you could easily run him out over and over again. If we go to the trends tool, the two players who are playing in this range who are playing most, or three of them, playing most over their 100-round baseline are Jake Knapp, Rio Hisatsune, and Jacob Bridgman. Actually, Nikolai Højgaard is in here as well. So of the top 6 trending golfers, 4 of them are in the 8K range. Okay, so the other 2 are Scotty and Christo Lamprecht, who is, we probably don't have a ton of rounds on him. He's $6,700. So that is like, okay, now we're cooking here. Throw Jake Knapp into the Taylor Pendrith. Who is the other guy in the $9,000 range that is going to probably spray it all over the yard? Ben On. Like, throw them into that category where this is probably a pretty decent golf course for him. The guy who I think is most interesting is Rio Hisatsune. Okay, so the run that he's been on, and again, we can throw out the T18 at the Zurich. We can throw that out. I don't want it. How about the T18 at Harbor Town? How about the T5 at Valero? How about making the cut and finishing T47 in Houston and then T4 at Valspar? Those are his last 5 starts. What I'm seeing now is a much more well-rounded golfer who is starting to figure things out. He finished 13th here last year, gained in all 4 strokes gained categories. It's a lot of upside. It's a lot of upside in a field that has one superstar and a couple of maybe they're stars or stars that are struggling. Will Zalatoris and Tom Kim are in between Rasmus Højgaard and Ryan Gerard on the pricing. 2 budding stars from Texas are in between Rasmus Højgaard and Ryan Gerard. So what does that tell you about how they've been playing? We can look quickly. Zalatoris has not fixed the putter. He's lost multiple strokes with the putter in 5 of his last 6. And when I say multiple, we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strokes there. Tom Kim, who's usually an approach and a putting guy, is lost with the ball striking. Has lost, 11, 12 strokes in his last 6 rounds in the ball striking categories alone. Can you go and summon up some Texas magic? Tom Kim's been okay here. Okay. Will Zalatoris has been not very good. 2 trips, 17th and a missed cut. Has lost 9 strokes putting in those 6 rounds. So I don't know if there's a reasonable discussion to be had that's going to be changing anytime soon. So when you get to this 8K range and you see names like the Højgaards, Gerard, Bridgman, Knapp, Hisatsune, they are pretty darn appealing. I'll pull up Jacob Bridgman's profile here because if you haven't been paying attention, that trends tool, it shows golfers who are playing over their 100-round baseline. Now, that could be anything. Scotty Scheffler's 100-round baseline is very high. Jacob Bridgman's is obviously a lot lower. But compared to himself, he's crushing himself. And it dates back to basically the Mexico Open. So since the Mexico Open, he's missed 1 cut. It was in Houston, and he missed the cut on the number. He actually picked up strokes to the field that week. A runner-up finish at the Cognizant, a 15th at Bay Hill, a 3rd at Valspar, a T10 with his partner last week at the Zurich Classic. It is really, really strong play for a guy who's starting to find his feet. And even it wasn't bad in 2024, the end of 2024, at least into the fall. Let's do this. Let's do everybody in this field. I'm going to cherry pick a little bit to get Bridgman a good number here. Everybody since July 24th. Why are you picking that, Rick? Well, it's going to make Bridgman look really good, but it's also a long period of time. And I want to show you that this is not just a little bit of a stunt here. So let's say this. July 24th, everybody in this field. Okay. Scotty Scheffler, Ryan Gerard, Rasmus Højgaard, Thorbjorn Olsen, Nicholas Norgard. This is across the globe, right? So a lot of these guys are getting boosts from the European Tour. Matt Wallace, Harry Hall, and then Jacob Bridgman. So there are only 5 golfers who have gained at least a stroke per round during that period. Jacob Bridgman is at .94. Better than Alex Smalley, Keith Mitchell, Henrik Norlander, Sung J M. Pretty significantly better than some of those guys as well. Better than Mackenzie Hughes. So I really like the way he's been playing and just flies under the radar consistently. All right, we've got another pretty good drop-off here in the 7K range, and there's a lot to look at. If you want to look at individual skill set, Rico Hoey's here. He's $7,700. One of the better drivers. You'd think this would be a pretty good spot for him. Missed the cut at the Zurich Classic. Don't care about that. He's been putting up very good results previous to that. I throw him in with someone like Alejandro Tosti. $7,300. Tosti misses the cut at Zurich. Now gets to play his own ball again. So now his last 3 starts as an individual, runner-up, 12th, and a T5 in Punta Cana, Valero, and Houston. Okay, and we're talking about the 2 measured events that we have in that stretch. He picked up basically 20 strokes from tee to green. And we don't have the breakdown from Punta Cana because they don't have shot length there, but again, picked up 11 strokes total. Really, really good stuff. Played here last year, missed the cut, but he lost 6 strokes putting. Everything else was phenomenal. He picked up 6.5 strokes from tee to green. So I expect Tosti to knock the cover off the ball this week. He's been doing it for the last month. He's done it here before. Picks up 3 strokes putting. He might win this golf tournament. That's kind of where we're at with Alejandro Tosti. I would give Michael Thorbjornsen another run out here. So young player, raw, 23 years old, trying to find his feet on the PGA Tour, is starting to. Made the cut in Houston, picked up 2 strokes to the field. Missed the cut at the Texas Open on the number, gained strokes to the field that week. Then he goes nuts in Punta Cana, finishes in that big tie for second, and then with a partner at the Zurich, finishes T4. That was with Carl Phillips. So this is probably the second time in his PGA Tour career that he has gained strokes to the field in 4 straight events. And now he's going to get another birdie fest. Do you know what every single player in this field can do? Make a ton of birdies, right? That is what they can all do. Every young kid, every Korn Ferry guy, every PGA Tour guy can make a ton of birdies. It is why guys like Jon Rahm say, this is a BS putting contest, right? Because that hurts guys like Jon Rahm. Doesn't hurt guys like Michael Thorbjornsen, who are playing with a decent bit of confidence right now, getting an opportunity to go out there and just continue it, keep it rolling. And I think what I'm also interested in is how are some of these guys going to react after getting out? Like, having a partner for some of these guys for just a week is going to be so good. You're going to see, there are going to be guys in this field who had crap years before Zurich who are now going to start going on runs. We see it every single year. The bottom of the 7K range has some interesting flyers. I'm going to click Davis Riley's name. I'm going to click Cam Davis's name. And I'm probably going to, I'll click Chris Goddard's name as well. All right, so here's what we've got here. So Davis Riley has now picked up strokes on approach in 5 out of 7. We don't have 2 of those breakdowns. I'm sorry, 5 out of 7 measured. 2 more during that stretch that we don't have the strokes gained breakdown. One of them he finished T6, so he probably hit it pretty well in Puerto Rico. And then the Zurich Classic last week where him and his partner, I guess it was Nick Hardy again, got off to a very good start and then struggled on the weekend. Not the end of the world. We're not going to take much from that. 7th place finish at the Valspar, 21st at the Masters. He needs to drive it a little bit better, but you can get away with a lot out here, okay? Especially if the rest of your game, like his fairway or approach through putting game has been quite strong. If you look at his history here, 30th last year, 2023, there was a missed cut. He was, I think, in just the absolute doldrums at that point. And then when he played here in 2022, he finished T9, gained across the board. So I think there are plenty of reasons to be positive. Oh man. I've been trying to follow the breadcrumbs on Cam Davis, and I'm trying to find a path to get there. Two okay results in a row. I love the result at Harbortown, the T13. I don't like the way he did it, which was entirely through the short game. He actually lost strokes from tee to green, and that includes the 3 that he gained around the green. And then the Zurich, he and his partner Adam Svensson were in the mix, and then had a very, 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 very bad Sunday. They lost 7.5 strokes to the field, and ended up finishing T32. He was on featured coverage a lot, so I feel like I saw a lot of his swings. It seems close. We are gearing up towards the part of the schedule that's like pretty good for him, right? He's going to get the Detroit Golf Club in here in a couple of months, and it's going to be the last time before they redo it. And he's just someone that I want to keep a very, very close eye on. I would rather be early than late. This might be a touch too early, but we're going to see. And then Chris Gotterup. Here we go. Gotterup starting to find something. 3 top 18 finishes in his last 4, 4 top 18 finishes in his last 7. The other 3 were missed cuts, so he's either going to finish inside the top 18 or miss the cut. Lump him in with all those other bombers, right? Lump him in with all those other bombers, but he is a little bit better of a second shot player, at least recently. He played here last year and finished T24. These are dart throws that I do not think are that bad. I'm interested to see what the model comes up with. Actually, some pretty good names in the 6K range as well. I don't mind taking some flyers here. Quade Cummins, who played with Chris Gotterup last week, right? T12, I think they played together. Almost certainly played together, right? T41 in Punta Cana, T33 at the Texas Open. He is starting to put it all together in a more consistent way. He did miss 2 cuts back to back, but other than that, 2025 has been pretty solid for Quade Cummins. Pearson Coody misses the cut last week, played with Jackson Suber. Again, we don't care about any of that. That did end a 4 start in a row stretch where he made all of those cuts. He's been very, very good on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's been okay on the PGA Tour this year, but again, these guys can fill it up. He's a Texas guy. This one's interesting. Takumi Kanaya. Is Takumi Kanaya going to be the guy who goes on a run after the Zurich? And I think there's a decent bet on that. Incredibly talented player. Has been destroyer of all tours, not PGA, in his young career. Highly accomplished amateur. Struggling in 2025. Gets to play with fellow countrymen and, I assume, friend Ryo Hisatsune. And they have a really good weekend at the Zurich. Ryo's still in this field. Who knows? Probably traveled together. I have no idea. I'm making half of this up. I'm selling the Kanaya stock right now. But I would not be at all surprised to see this guy continue those birdie-making vibes. He's just so much more talented than a lot of these guys in the 6K range. Raw talent. And now, like I said, we see it every year. Would not be surprised if Takumi Kanaya goes on a run. Danny Walker, probably just mispriced, right? Danny Walker's had a very, very good 2025. He missed those 3 cuts in a row. That kept his salary in check, but 31st in Punta Cana, played well with Ryan Gerard last week. T12 there. Really like his golf swing, really like his game in general. He's $6,600. That's just probably too cheap. I want to see what the model says. So let's run a model here. Custom model, rickrungood.com. And we are going to... first off, we need to, let's do our weighted strokes gained total for 15, just get that out of the way. Now we are going to do strokes gained approach last 36 for like kind of a big number, 30. Last 36? Yeah. We're going to do strokes gained putting last 36 for 30. It's a lot. Then we're just going to do a little bit on total driving. Do 10 on total driving, and that leaves us with 15. Let's do par threes, 200 yards or more for 8. I'm kind of getting a little freaky here. And then par 5 scoring. Let's get a little freaky and see what happens. Number 1 player, yeah, Scotty Scheffler. I could have put in a random combination of stats, and Scotty Scheffler would have come out number 1, and rightfully so. Sammy Valimaki and Hayden Springer are 2 and 3. Let's see what Hayden Springer's been up to. I'll pull that up in a second. Gerard is 4. Wow. Ryder 5. I do like Lee Hodges a lot. Spoiler alert. I guess it depends on when you watch this. I'm going to go on the Scratch Show Dan on Golf here on Monday. It's a live show. And I'm going to give a Lee Hodges, I think it's top 40. I like the way he's playing. Bridgman is 7th. Jake Knapp is 8. Chan Kim is 9. Steven Yeager is 10. Davis Riley is 11. Rio Hisase is 13. What has Hayden Springer been doing? Oh, okay. Well, he's picking up strokes. He's picked up, since Farmers, he's been very good. He missed the cut at the Phoenix Open. Pretty ugly one. Outside of that, he's been very good, dating back to WWT. These are weak fields. But, hey, guess what? So is this one that we are playing right now. Wow, Hayden Springer. You dog. Okay. What else stands out to me here? Jordan Spieth, 24th. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got some work to do. I've got some data to update. I've got some research to run and business things to do. But I think that'll do it. I will see what time that Wednesday live chat has to be because I'm traveling on Wednesday. We'll figure it out. We'll get it on there, and then we'll schedule the room. So when you go to the Rick Run Good YouTube channel, you'll be able to see what time that Wednesday live show is. Otherwise, if you want in on the Splash contest this week, move fast. It is going to fill immediately. Other than that, best of luck. Talk to you guys soon.